strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently. We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. So let's see who's in here. Hello, Juju B, Claudette, Alice is here, the lovely T, Byron Cook. All right, let's get into it. Nessie X. All right. Ursula is in the house. Okay, so shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Gwendolyn, Pearly, Chris B. All right, Mama Jocelyn is here. Okay, so let's get into it. My Aunt Egypt. All right. So with that all being said, I see DSB has started us out with some gifted memberships. Okay, DSB gifted 5 memberships to the Queen's channel. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And he also gifted another 10 more memberships. Okay, you all make sure that you shout out DSB for his kindness. All right, for all that he does for this channel and him sharing his generosity with the rest of you. All right, so thanks for your 15 gifted memberships, beloved. I really appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so let's get into it. Most hated bronze flat power God. Okay, everybody hit that like button. Y'all know how it goes down in the queendom. All right, hello, Reggie. All hell nah in the house. We next, aka DSB. Okay, with that all being said, let's get into it. We next, aka DSB says, you're always welcome, my warrior sister. Thank you, beloved. All right, a member for 7 months. I appreciate you. Okay, so now let's talk about it, because you all know that there's some more shady information that's come in on Shannon. Honey, Shannon is done, okay? Anybody that was holding out hope for Shannon to make it through this trial, these trials and tribulations that he's brought upon himself, honey, it's a wrap, okay? I went and dug up some dirt on Shannon, and I can tell you that it's safe to assume that Shannon's done. He's finished, kaput. Okay, this is a flawless victory for the accuser. Even though I absolutely think it's a shakedown, but guess what? Shannon put himself in the line of fire, and this is what you get. And I, for one, will not be defending him. Okay? That's what I won't be doing. In fact, I'm going to go in on him just as soon as I get done talking about Trump. Okay, please pay attention. Y'all, let's get into it. Hey, Alice. All right, Mel is in here. All right, beloved, we the people. Okay, Sheila. Juju said flawless victory, honey. The shade of it all. That's exactly what it is. But we're going to talk about it. So let's hurry up and get into what Trump is up to, honey, because Trump is nefarious, as we all know. And he thought he was going to bully China. And I want you all to pay attention, because everything that I said about Trump, do you all know China has said the exact same things? Okay, I want you all to pay attention. I told you all that Trump was trying to bully these other nations, that specifically China. Okay, I told you all he was trying to bully them. And then China comes out and says that they're not going to be bullied by him. Then I told you all that basically Trump's trying to run this country like he's John Gotti and this is the mafia, okay? Like he's got goons and gangsters. And then China comes out and says that Trump thinks he's got gangsters, okay? Then I told you all just the other day, I said Trump is playing with fire. And then China comes out and says, when you play with fire, you get burned. I want y'all to pay attention, honey. It's all bad for you, Trump. The lovely T says, yes, you did, Queen. Okay, thank you. All right, honey. The Queen stays good on these predictions. But let's just talk about it, because Trump thought he had it all going good. But, honey, alas, China is the one holding all the cards. And Trump has, in fact, walked back all that trash talk. Yeah, he certainly has. You see, now he's talking about, oh, I'm going to lower the tariffs on China. No need to give them such high tariffs. That's not what he said, but that's what I heard when his lips were moving. Okay, so let's get into it. Trump says he has no intention of firing Powell and says China's tariffs will be lower. Okay, Trump. Let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen so you all can hear this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. Here we go.
But you're doing really well. Thank you very much. Scott's going to be doing the swearing in. No one in America is more highly qualified to lead the SEC in this exciting time than Paul. He's devoted his entire life to the cause of free, clear, pro-growth, and pro-innovation securities markets. After graduating very, very high in his class, I will tell you, Vanderbilt University School of Law, Paul began a distinguished career practicing securities law in New York City before joining the staff of the SEC in the 1990s. In 2002, Paul was appointed as the commissioner of the SEC, a commissioner, and rode that to a fairly well. He was so respected. He was a role which he promoted economic freedom and represented the agency at the U.S.-EU Transatlantic Economic Council, highly respected the World Economic Forum and the Transatlantic Business Dialogue. After completing his term in 2008, Paul began a successful consulting practice and continued to advocate for a common sense approach to securities regulation. Extremely complicated stuff, and he put a lot of common sense and saneness into it without heavy-handed bureaucracy and the harming of investors and workers and consumers and, frankly, our country itself. Paul has also been a leader in the emerging crypto and blockchain industries and served as co-chair of the Digital Chambers Token Alliance. He's the perfect man to lead this agency at a time when crypto innovators are urgently in need of
crypto regulation. You may get a little excited when you shop at Burlington.
I hope that we won't. Brian Quintenz, whom the president has nominated, is a great guy. I've known him for years, and I intend to work closely with him, and I really look forward to his leadership there. I think there's no reason why the two agencies can't be working cheek to jowl on these issues for the American investor. And
Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me put up this other video because actually, that one's a bit long, and I'm not sure of the timestamp. So let's go to this one. It's about 3 minutes.
The tariffs he imposed on Chinese goods will be coming down, quote, substantially, raising hopes that trade tensions between the U.S. and China could soon ease. Several rounds of tariffs on Chinese imports add up to the current rate of 145%. China responded with retaliatory tariffs on U.S. exports totaling 125%. Today, the president expressed optimism about future talks to reach a U.S.-China trade deal.
We are going to have a fair deal with China. It's going to be fair.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active. Everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing. They know that they can't get away with it any longer, but they're still going to do fine. And we're going to have a country that you can be proud of, not a laughing stock all over the world.
For more on this, I want to bring in CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cortez. So, Nancy, this change regarding tariffs on Chinese imports, it comes 2 days after President Trump met with business leaders over his policies. Do we know what led the president to make this, I don't know if we call it a change of heart yet, but maybe change of stance slightly?
Well, we know one thing that may have influenced him, Lindsay, and that is that he met here at the White House with the CEOs of Walmart and Target behind closed doors on Monday, and they delivered a pretty blunt warning. They said that his enormous tariffs on Chinese goods could lead in a matter of weeks to empty store shelves. So now, 48 hours later, we're hearing a new message from this president expressing a lot of optimism that this is all going to get taken care of very quickly. However, and there are a couple big caveats here. You heard him say that everything's active. All these talks are happening. And yet his own Treasury Secretary just told reporters this morning that actually there are no talks underway yet, and that probably those talks wouldn't begin until the U.S. and China begin to de-escalate. So some pretty significant mixed messages from the top levels of this administration. And then, of course, you've got not just Wall Street, but Main Street watching this very closely because there are a lot of small and medium-sized business owners who have said that if this isn't taken care of quickly, they could go bankrupt. And in some cases, they've already begun to lay off staff.
Elon Musk says the amount of time he spends on the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, the task force, will drop significantly starting in May. What do we know led to that decision? Will the administration's efforts to slash government spending continue?
Well, he is a temporary employee with a special status, which only allows him to work until May anyway. So this was always a job that was going to be coming to an end in this time frame. So that's not much of a surprise. But what will continue is the operation that he set up, the DOGE operation, that has kind of gone into most, if not all, of the government agencies now looking for deep cuts that can be made to both spending and staffing. Those workers will remain. And so that work and efforts to radically reduce the size of the federal government will continue long after Elon Musk has left.
All right, Nancy Cortez, thank you.
Our next guest is
Okay, so with that all been said, let's go to the next clip, because the bottom line is Trump has conceded defeat to China. Okay, he has finally realized, I'm sure his billionaire friends all told him that it wasn't going to work and he was screwing stuff up for everybody else. Now, We Next, aka DSB, has gifted 20 memberships. Okay, oh my goodness, I'm losing count. And then here's 10, so that's 30 more. Okay, that's 30 more memberships. Thank you, beloved. I really, really appreciate I can't keep up. Okay, I absolutely cannot keep up. You all, there is 30 memberships. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, We Next, aka DSB, says I'm going to make it I'm going to make it rain memberships today. Thank you, beloved. I really appreciate you. I'm sure we all do. Thank you for your contribution to the channel and for all of these memberships. And here is another 5 memberships. I know you all are thrilled. And then here is 20 more. Okay, now how many memberships is that? Let me see. 20 and 20, that's 40, that's 50. I think you've gifted 60 memberships. 55 memberships, at least 55 memberships. You all give a big shout out and get some fire emojis in the chat for We Next, aka DSB. Okay. We love you, beloved. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to be posting something for you all for members only on this channel. Please stay tuned. Okay. In the next couple of days. Okay. So now with that all being said, Trump has clearly conceded defeat to China. He knows it's a done deal. All right. He saw how it was all going bad. Then they started talking about the Great Depression. The billionaire friends of his went in on him. All these companies started complaining. Okay. He doesn't care about the American citizens. The only thing that he's caring about is his big time friends. Okay. He doesn't want to tick them off. All right. And once he saw that he's losing, and then, like I said, China let him know they're not backing down. Okay, if you want to do it, then let's do it. It's what they basically said. Okay.
Beijing has responded to Donald Trump's apparent U-turn in their escalating trade war. The US president has declared he's no longer going to play hardball on tariffs on Chinese goods, but Beijing isn't buying it.
He once called his tariffs the medicine for a sick economy. Now Donald Trump is getting a taste of his own. As the US economy struggles, the president announced plans to cut the unprecedented 145% tariff on Chinese imports.
I'm not going to say, I'm going to play hardball with China. I'm going to play hardball with you, President Xi. No. We're going to be very nice. They're going to be very nice.
But China's response to the United States wasn't quite as nice.
Saying they want to reach an agreement with China while continuing to apply maximum pressure is not the right way to deal with China, and it will not work.
With the not-so-pleasantries exchanged, negotiations between the two countries have begun.
The president and the administration are setting the stage for a deal with China.
The volatile rollercoaster of trade tariffs has left the global economy feeling unwell, with the International Monetary Fund forced to lower its projections for economic growth this year.
Global growth will reach 2.8% this year and 3% next year. A cumulative downgrade of about 0.8 percentage point.
The IMF also predicts Australia's economic output could be hit harder than first thought, forecasting a $13 billion shortfall.
I think there's an element of unpredictability about the trajectory of these tariffs and these negotiations.
As the president heads to the negotiation table, his 10% tariff on other countries, including Australia, remains. Taylor Ryan for 10 News First.
All right. Talk about a cracked face. Okay, so that didn't turn out the way Trump thought. And here's the thing. China actually is holding the cards. Okay, that's what it is. China holds the cards in the trade war with the United States. Now, a trade war between the world's two biggest economies is now in full swing. Chinese exports to the U.S. face up to 245% tariffs, and Beijing gets hit back with 125% levy on American imports. Consumers, businesses, and markets are braced for more uncertainty as fears of a global recession have heightened. Chinese President Xi Jinping's government has repeatedly said that it is open to dialogue, but warned that if necessary, it would fight to the end. Okay, here's a look at what Beijing has in its arsenal to counter U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. Let's get into it. You see, the thing about it is China can take the pain, okay, to a point. Trump can't. China is the world's second largest economy, which means it can absorb the impacts of the tariffs better than any other small countries, okay? With more than 1 billion people, it also has a huge domestic market that could take some of the pressure off exporters who are reeling from the tariffs. Beijing is still fumbling with the keys because Chinese people are not spending enough. But with a range of incentives from subsidies, from household appliances to silver trains for traveling retirees, that could all change. And Trump's tariffs have given the Chinese Communist Party an even stronger impetus to unlock the country's consumer potential. Okay, do y'all hear this? Trump is so stupid. And here's the thing. All of those name brand designers whose information that we now have, we now know their trade secrets. Well, we can't unsee it. Okay. And if you go back and spend all of those thousands of dollars on that stuff after now, we all know how much it really costs to manufacture it, then you're insidiously obtuse. Now, the leadership may very well be willing to endure the pain to avoid capitulating to what they believe is U.S. aggression. Okay, Mary Lovely, a U.S.-China trade expert at the Peterson Institute in Washington, D.C., told the BBC NewsHour this information earlier this month. They say China also has a higher threshold for pain as an authoritarian regime, as it is far less worried about short-term public opinion. You see, they don't care about public opinion, all right? There is no election around the corner that will judge its leaders. Still, unrest is concerned, especially because there is already discontent over an ongoing property crisis and job losses. Now, the economic uncertainty over tariffs is yet another blow for young people who have only known a rising China. The party has been appealing to nationalist sentiments to justify its retaliatory tariffs, with state media calling on people to weather storms together. President Xi Jinping may be worried, but so far, Beijing has struck a defiant and confident tone. Okay, they've struck a confident and defiant tone. Now, one official assured the country that the sky will not fall, basically saying it's not the end of the world. Okay, Trump thought he was going to bully them, and it backfired. Now, China has always been known as the world's factory, but it has been pouring billions into becoming a far more advanced one. Under Xi, it has been in a race with the U.S. for tech dominance. It has invested heavily in homegrown tech, from renewables to chips to AI. Examples include chatbot DeepSeek, which was celebrated as a formidable rival to ChatGPT, and BYD, which beat Tesla last year to become the world's largest electric vehicle EV maker. Apple has been losing its prize market share to local competitors such as Huawei and Vivo. Recently, Beijing announced plans to send more than 11 million or billion over the next decade to support innovation in AI. Now, U.S. companies have tried to move their supply chains away from China, but they have struggled to find the same scale of infrastructure and skilled labor elsewhere. Chinese manufacturers at every stage of the supply chain have given the country a decades-long advantage that will take time to replicate. That unrivaled supply chain expertise and government support have made China a formidable foe in this trade war. Okay, in some ways, Beijing has been preparing for this since Trump's previous term. Okay? Because they don't trust him, and they're smart not to. Now, ever since Trump's tariffs hit Chinese solar panels back in 2018, Beijing sped up its plans for a future beyond a U.S.-led world order. It has pumped billions into a contentious trade and infrastructure program, better known as the Belt and Road Initiative, to shore up ties with the so-called Global South. The expansion of trade with Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Africa comes as China tries to wean itself off the U.S. American farmers once supplied 40% of China's soybean imports. That figure now hovers at 20%. After the last trade war, Beijing ramped up soy cultivation at home and bought record volumes of the crop from Brazil, which is now its largest soybean supplier. They say the tactic kills two birds with one stone. Please pay attention. It derives America's farm belt of a once captive market and burnishes China's food security credentials, says Marina Yu Zhang, associate professor at the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia's China Relations Institute. Now, the U.S. is no longer China's biggest export market. That spot now belongs to Southeast Asia. In fact, China was the largest trading partner for 60 countries in 2023, nearly twice as many as the U.S. The world's biggest exporter, it made a record surplus of $11 billion at the end of 2024. I'm sorry, that's $1 trillion. Okay, $1 trillion at the end of 2024. That doesn't mean the U.S., the world's biggest economy, is not a crucial trading partner for China, but it does mean it's not going to be easy for Washington to back China into a corner, following reports that the White House will use bilateral trade negotiations to isolate China. Beijing has warned countries against reaching a deal at the expense of China's interests. That would be an impossible choice for the world. We can't choose, and we will never choose between China and the U.S. This is what Malaysia's Trade Minister Zingku Zafrul Aziz said to BBC last week. Now, Trump held firm as stocks plummeted following his sweeping tariffs announcement in early April, likening his staggering levies to medicine. But he made a U-turn, pausing most of those tariffs for 90 days after a sharp sell-off in U.S. government bonds. Also known as treasuries, these have long been seen as a safe investment, but the trade war has shaken confidence in the assets. Trump has since hinted at a de-escalation in trade tensions with China, saying that the tariffs on Chinese goods will come down substantially, but it won't be zero. So experts point out Beijing now knows that the bond market can rattle Trump. Okay, they know where to get him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, they are reading him like a book. Please pay attention. Right, and Trump's so dumb, he doesn't even know it. Remember, he's a narcissist and a psychopath, and he thinks he knows everything, and he also thinks he's always the smartest one in the room, but sadly, he's probably the dumbest. But let's continue. China also holds $700 billion in U.S. government bonds. Japan, a staunch American ally, is the only non-U.S. holder to own more than that. Now, some argue that this gives Beijing leverage. Chinese media has regularly floated the idea of selling or withholding purchases of U.S. bonds as a weapon. But experts warn that China will not emerge unscathed from such a situation. Rather, it will lead to huge losses for Beijing's investments in the bond market and destabilize the China yen. Okay? Now, China will only be able to exert pressure with U.S. government bonds only up to a point. This is what Dr. Zhang says. China holds a bargaining chip, not a financial weapon. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there because I think we just about get the gist of it. You see, Trump, unfortunately, he didn't have the sense or the wherewithal to realize it, but other people did, and I'm sure they advised his silly self. Okay, Truth Brown said, "Facts Queen, it's going to go down. Trump better think about this." Exactly. Okay, he's already been told. I'm sure they went in on him. Now, but let's talk about it, because here's the thing. He's now going in on Zelensky. I find it also interesting. Okay, he's going in on Zelensky because there was a final offer for peace, but it required Ukraine to accept Russian occupation. Okay. The U.S. expects Ukraine's response Wednesday to a peace framework that includes U.S. recognition of Crimea as part of Russia and unofficial recognition of Russian control of nearly all areas occupied since the 2022 invasion. Sources with direct knowledge of the proposal gave this information. Now, why does this matter? Well, the one-page document that the U.S. presented Ukrainian officials in Paris last week describes this as President Trump's final offer. The White House insists that it's ready to walk away if the parties don't make a deal soon. Now, Trump's proposal would require major concessions from Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, who previously ruled out accepting Russia's occupation of Crimea and parts of 4 regions in eastern Ukraine. And while Russian President Vladimir Putin has reportedly offered to freeze the current front lines in order to reach a deal, he has previously rejected other elements of the U.S. framework, such as a European peacekeeping force on Ukrainian territory. And a source close to the Ukrainian government says Kyiv sees the proposal as highly biased towards Russia, saying the proposal says very clearly what tangible gains Russia gets, but only vaguely and generally says what Ukraine is going to get. That sounds like what the U.S. tells Black people. Please pay attention. Okay, they can tell everybody else what they're going to get. Okay, whether it's the Asians, the other immigrants who come here like Mexicans, Latinos, the Native Americans, they can tell all of them what they're going to get, the U's, but they never have anything for Black folk. Okay, we're all just standing by the wayside, hoping that something will fall over for us to pick up. Please pay attention. That's just the truth of the matter. Okay, so anyway, what Russia gets under Trump's proposal, okay, U.S. recognition of Russian control in Crimea. This is what they get. Okay. De facto recognition of Russia's occupation of nearly all of Luhansk Oblast and the occupied portions of Donetsk and whatever these words are. I can't pronounce any of them. Okay. I literally can't. Donetsk, Kherson, Zaporizhzhia. I think that's it. But anyway, okay, so that's basically what they get. So they said that Zelensky wouldn't really take the deal. He didn't want to take the deal. So Trump got mad, okay, and went in on him. Now let's go to this information. Okay, so they basically say President Donald Trump slammed Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky on Wednesday, accusing him of derailing negotiations to end the war in Ukraine, while a peace deal was very close. Okay, in a long post on Truth Social, Trump described Zelensky's rejection of Russia's takeover of Crimea, which Russia illegally annexed in 2024, mind you, as very harmful to achieving peace, saying it's inflammatory statements like Zelensky's that make it so difficult to settle this war. This is what Trump wrote. Zelensky has consistently rejected the suggestion that his country give up its claim to the Crimean Peninsula. There's nothing to talk about here, he said. Okay, this is against our Constitution. Oh, really? Don't y'all find it all so interesting and quite frankly nefarious? Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? Queen Sam said, Trump said, this is why I didn't give him one of my Big Macs from McDonald's. Okay, but did y'all hear this fool? He said this goes against our Constitution. So now he expects Zelensky to uphold and, abide by our Constitution when he doesn't even do it. Trump, please sit your behind down somewhere. Okay, you sound ridiculous. Yes, that's what he said. He said there's nothing to talk about here. This is against our Constitution. Now, during an Oval Office media event Wednesday evening, Trump suggested negotiations with Zelensky have been harder than dealings with Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying we have to get a deal with Zelensky. I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky. So far, it's been harder. Sounds like a little kid, like a little whiny brat, just whining and crying because things aren't going this way. Trump's comments come after months of discord between the two leaders, including a heated exchange in the Oval Office in February. The two men had a near shouting match when Zelensky noted that Russia has broken previous agreements with Ukraine during a disagreement that included Vice President J.D. Vance. The situation escalated when Trump raised his voice and pointed his finger at Zelensky, accusing him of gambling with World War III and being disrespectful to the U.S. I'm sorry. Everything he said about Zelensky literally is what he's doing. He said Zelensky doesn't respect the U.S. Constitution. Neither does Trump. He says that Zelensky is gambling with World War III. Well, that's what Trump's been doing the whole time that he's been in office, okay? Since the inauguration. And he said that he's being disrespectful to the U.S. Well, Trump does that every day. Okay, please pay attention. Trump ordered a pause on military aid, including providing Ukraine with intelligence following the Oval Office clash. Yeah, that was his get back, honey. He had to get his get back. Zelensky urged Trump to visit Ukraine earlier this month after Russia launched 2 ballistic missiles in Sumy, killing 34 people and injuring 119. He suggested that a visit to the destruction would help the U.S. leadership understand what Putin did. Trump didn't want to go see that because Trump already made an excuse for Putin and said that it was an accident. He said they told him it was an accident. Now, you know Trump's lying. Okay, Putin didn't tell him there was no damn accident because Putin did it on purpose, and Putin will tell you that he did it on purpose, okay? But what it is Trump doesn't want any smoke from Putin. That's what he doesn't want. All right, he'd rather just talk trash to Zelensky. Now, high-level talks aimed at bringing a pause to fighting in Ukraine disintegrated earlier after Secretary of State Mark Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff pulled out, dealing a blow to Kyiv's hopes for a short-term peace agreement, while ministerial talks about that had been planned in London fell apart. Trump's special envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, still planned to meet with Ukrainian Presidential Chief of Staff, Andriy Yermak, who arrived in London early Wednesday with Ukrainian defense and foreign ministers. Now, the parties in London agreed to continue the dialogue. Okay, Yermak said on Telegram following the meeting, he says, we conveyed our position and emphasized that an immediate, complete, and unconstitutional ceasefire must be the first stop or the first step toward launching negotiations aimed at achieving a just and lasting peace. We expressed hope that this aligns with the visions of President Donald Trump. In a post on X, Zelensky commented the meeting, or he commended the meeting, though emotions have run high, saying it's important that each side was not just a participant, but contributed meaningfully. The American side shared its vision. Ukraine and other Europeans presented their inputs. Okay, this is what Zelensky wrote, saying that we hope that it is exactly just joint work that will lead to lasting peace. Okay, so anyway, they're having major setbacks with that because mainly because Trump's an idiot. Okay, and him going in on Zelensky because he's mad because Zelensky's not doing what he told him to do. See, Trump thinks that he can just dish out orders and commands and everybody has to do what he says. He doesn't seem to realize that these presidents of these other countries, he doesn't seem to realize that these people have the same amount of power he does in their own damn country. Like, he is so ridiculous. Okay, he is absolutely ridiculous. Please pay attention. And then a judge has been urged to block Trump's executive orders, okay? 2 major law firms, and I want you all to pay attention. They have urged judges to permanently block Trump's executive orders, okay? Don't let anything slide through the cracks. So 2 major law firms have asked separate judges Wednesday to permanently block President Donald Trump's executive orders that were meant to punish them and harm their business operations. See, this is him trying to just leverage everything to just use his power. This is an abuse of power. He's trying to get back at any and everybody who has ticked him off. Okay, and he's wasting time doing that because he needs to be trying to get this damn country together instead of trying to get back at his political enemies with his stupid self. Okay, now the firms Perkins, Coy, and Wilmer Hale say the orders imposed in March are unconstitutional assaults on the legal profession that threaten their relationships with clients and retaliate against them based either on their past legal representations or their association with particular attorneys whom Trump perceives as his adversaries. See how he's just making trouble? This man is a darn fool. Okay. Courts last month temporarily halted enforcement of key provisions of both orders, but the firms asked in court Wednesday for the edicts to be struck down in their entirety and for judges to issue rulings in their favor. Now, another firm, Jenner and Block, is scheduled to make similar arguments next week, and a fourth, Sussman Godfrey, is set to make its case next month. All of these firms going against Trump, honey. Do y'all see how disruptive this fool is, what he's doing to everybody? Now, the entire executive order is retaliatory. Okay, this is what Dane Basuikas, a lawyer who represented arguments on behalf of Perkins Coie, said to a judge. U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell did not immediately rule on the firm's request, but she repeatedly expressed deep unease over the executive order, signaling that she was inclined to side with Perkins Coie. She grilled Justice Department lawyer over the government's plans to suspend the security clearances of lawyers at the firm and asked him to respond to the suggestion that the blacklisting of disfavored law firms was similar to the Red Scare panic over communism decades ago. See, this is what it is. Okay, this is what it is. Trump is trying to be a dictator. Okay, please pay attention. And she pressed him to explain why the Trump administration was forcing firms to disavow the use of diversity, equity, and inclusion considerations in their hiring practice. See, let me tell y'all something. Trump is honey, I'm not even going to say what he is, but here's the thing. Trump is trying to run everybody. He's trying to tell Harvard what to damn do. He's not only trying to make sure that Harvard doesn't have people coming in that are DEI, but he's trying to make sure these attorneys don't hire people at their law firms who are DEI. He's upset because these firms are friends, or may have worked in concert before with other attorneys who he deems as his adversaries. Okay, now he's trying to tell them about their hiring practices. When does the president ever do this? Okay, when has the president ever done this? This is the whole idiot. Okay, so anyway, goes on to say he's trying to tell them about their hiring practice. Now, what does the administration view? Why does the administration view those 3 words as dirty, says Howell. Justice Department Attorney Richard Lawson, who has represented the Trump administration in challenges to the executive orders, said the president was within his prerogative to issue the orders, and the government had good basis to be concerned by what he called the unlawful evaluation by law firms striving to reach race and gender targets in their workforce. Oh, Lord, this man is just absolutely obnoxious. The spate of executive orders taking aim at some of the country's most elite and prominent law firms are part of a wide-ranging retribution campaign by Trump designed to reshape civil society. Okay, didn't I tell you all that he was trying to usher in the NWO? Y'all know what it is. Please pay attention and read between the lines. And exact concessions from perceived adversaries. Now, the actions have forced targeted enemies, whether law firms or universities, to decide whether to push back and risk further incurring the administration's ire or to agree to concessions in hopes of averting sanctions. Some firms have challenged the orders in court, but others have proactively reached settlements. Now, the executive actions have generally imposed the same sanctions against the targeted firms, including ordering the suspension of security clearances, the termination of federal contracts, and restrictions in access to federal buildings for firm employees. In court on Wednesday, Howell said she was troubled that the administration was putting the cart before the horse by stripping security clearances en masse without first conducting individualized review of attorneys. Now, she appeared to grow exasperated as Lawson struggled to answer questions about the basic mechanics for implementing the security clearance suspension or the review process for the targeted attorneys. You can't tell me which agencies are conducting this review, she said. You don't know whether the firm or the attorney whose security clearance has been suspended has been given notice about the timing of the review or whether they will have any ability to object to the review, she asked. Lawson said the administration did not intend for the security clearance suspensions to be a blanket ban, but rather to allow for individualized and granular assessments of attorneys. So anyway, the bottom line is Trump is out here doing the most. These attorneys, more than half a dozen firms, have reached agreements with the White House that required them, among other things, to dedicate free legal services to causes the Trump administration says it champions. Do y'all hear this? How the hell is this even legal? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because it isn't. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? Vince I.A. for the UK said, Queen, don't let Trump raise your blood pressure. Honey, that's every day since he's been in office. Please pay attention. But do y'all hear the foolishness of it all? Now, more than a half a dozen firms have already reached agreements with the White House that require them, please pay attention when I say this again, among other things, to dedicate free legal services to causes the Trump administration says it champions. Are they serious right about now? So they want these people to give away free services because Trump said so? Is he a damn fool or what? Okay. And some of these law firms include Skadden, Arps, Slate, Meager, and Flom, Milbank, Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher, Kirkland and Ellis, Latham and Watkins, LLP, Allen, Overy, Sherman, Sterling, US, LLP, Simpson, Thatcher, and Bartlett, LLP, and Cadwalader, Taft, and Wickersham. Honey, he wouldn't be telling me what to damn do. That's what they would be doing, honey. Okay, whatever I do at my practice would be my darn business. Who in the hell does Trump think he is? Oh, that's right, God. I'm sorry, he has a God complex, clearly. Okay, clearly. So anyway, honey, there you all have it. Okay, there you all have it. This is a darn fool. Now, with that all being said, now we can talk about Shannon's nefarious butt. Okay, let's talk about it, because Shannon, you're on the chopping block, beloved. All right, first things first. Let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And for the fellas, don't forget that she has this amazing and fabulous beard oil. Okay, please pay attention. Get you some. Okay, so now let's talk about Shannon Sharpe. Now, first of all, there's another audio that's been released. So let's just listen to that first and foremost. And then I have some receipts that I went and dug up on his arse. Okay? Because it's time to go in. Okay, it's time to go in.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
Okay, well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, so with that all being said, honey, she basically just repeats the same thing again. Shannon is a damn fool, okay? DSB said, I done sent out so many memberships. They said I reached the limit for today. I was trying to send more. Wow, really? I didn't know there was a limit. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you, okay? Thank you kindly. I didn't even know there was a limit, but thank you. I appreciate you, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings for all that you do, okay? Now, do y'all hear this? But let's just keep it a buck. Now, it was brought to my attention yesterday. I hadn't even thought about this, but Shannon started getting a whole lot of stuff happening to him. He started being all over the news after he had that interview with Cat Williams. But he gave people the ammunition. And here's the thing. He actually was in the news prior to that, but some of y'all may have forgotten about it, or maybe you never knew, but I'm about to put y'all up on game. All right, I'm about to put y'all up on game because let me tell y'all something. Shannon is nefarious, okay? This is all factual. Shannon is nefarious because do you all know that Shannon has a history of violence, allegedly? Shannon allegedly has a whole history of violence, okay? I want you all to pay attention because at the end of the day, there's a whole lot of receipts. There is a whole lot of receipts. Now, hold on. Let me just dig them up real quick. Like, sub, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay. First things first, Shannon had a restraining order, okay? He had a temporary restraining order. He had a temporary restraining order from this woman by the name of Michele Bundy. Okay, and here is Michele Bundy, because y'all know he loves his white women. He loves them. That's Michele Bundy. Now, remember when he did that video and he claims that he accidentally went live on Instagram, y'all, and he was in there getting freaky? Didn't he call the person Michelle? I'm thinking that's who he was talking about. Okay, I'm thinking that's who Shannon was talking about, perhaps. But here's the fact of the matter. This woman got a restraining order, temporary restraining order against Shannon. Then she had it dismissed. Now, this was all the way back in 2010. But what's interesting about all of it is the fact that in this restraining order, she said some of the same things that little Miss Joe has alleged about Shannon in the past few days. All right, are y'all hearing this? Are y'all hearing this? She is saying some of the same things. Let me just pull up my darn receipts. Okay? Let me just pull up my darn receipts, and I want y'all to remember that you heard it here first. All right? You absolutely heard it here first. Okay, now, while that's uploading. Yeah, this woman, yes, he does look like Miss Netta, okay? Absolutely. All right, absolutely. He certainly does. Now, let me just show y'all this real quick. Let me just share my screen. Just share my screen real quick. Hold on. Shannon, honey. Okay, there it is right there. I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention, honey. Because here's the thing. Let me tell you what this says. Michele Bundy is the petitioner versus Shannon Sharpe. Respondent, okay? Petition for stalking. Okay, temporary protective order. The petitioner is a resident of Fulton County, Georgia. Okay, on or about September of 2010, the respondent has knowingly and willfully committed the following acts of stalking under OCGA statute 16-5-90. All right, forced to have sex with him repeatedly, calls and threatens her life. All right, please pay attention. Places her under surveillance and calls to say he is watching her. Forced to have sex with him repeatedly. Do y'all see it? Do y'all see it? Do y'all see it? Okay, I want y'all to pay attention, honey. All right, I want y'all to pay attention on that because the queen be out here getting the receipts for y'all. Okay, now with that all being said, we're going to get into exactly why. Well, that's part of the reason, but we're going to get into exactly why she filed that against poor little old Shannon with his nefarious self. Okay, and as I told you, she then had it dismissed. Okay. She had it dismissed, and here's the receipt for that. This is from TMZ. I went and dug this up from them. Now, as you can see, family violence. Okay, please pay attention. Family violence. Now, this woman dated Shannon for years. Okay. Michele Bundy versus Shannon Sharpe. All right. September the 15th of 2010. There you can see that she obviously had it dismissed. Now, the question is, why did she have it dismissed? Okay, let's talk about it. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Shannon, we thought you were all nice and sweet. So let's talk about it. Now, this is an article from when this happened back in September of 2015 or 2010. Shannon Sharpe takes leave from CBS due to restraining order. Shannon Sharpe has long been a favorite of Broncos fans. A former record-setting tight end turned broadcaster who devorates, I think this is a typo, have long felt deserves to be in the NFL. Now, I want you all to pay attention, but hold on. For those of you who missed it yesterday, let's go back to something. Hold on, because this is all a part of it. Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. For those of you who missed the very incriminating video that I found yesterday, I remember this from a year ago, where Shannon was talking about getting somebody from the back door.
I was having sex with this young lady.
Hold on. Paint the whole picture now. Don't cheat me.
Don't cheat me either. Okay.
I want
details. We're having
details.
Sex. We're having sex.
Position?
Yeah. You know I'm the bad dog. Oh Lord Jesus. She ain't do it when she no, she did.
Let's go, boy.
No, she did. That is out. And what I'm about to say is 1,000%
Talk to me, baby.
So she passed gas.
Sir.
She said, excuse me. I said, that's all right. Do it. Yes, she passed gas.
Okay,
George.
then she look back and say, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She do it. How she do it? Time. She said, "Excuse me." I said, "That's all right, baby. I generally make them shit."
How she do it?
Hey, she said, "Excuse me." I said, "That's all right, baby. I generally make them shit." Ooh. It kept going. I'm with it. I'm hell with it, time. I'm hell with it, time.
Hey.
Come on,
Both
baby.
of y'all nasty, man.
They talk.
Both of y'all nasty, dog.
Hey,
I swear. I swear.
No, I know you ain't laughing. That's bad.
Fist bump.
No, don't do that. Don't be. Y'all ain't no good. That ain't Shannon. That's not that. Don't do that. Y'all nasty.
What you want? What you want me? You want what you want me to say?
First of all, for her to look back and say, "Excuse me."
Okay, y'all hear that? I mean, Shannon is a whole fool. That clearly did not age well. Okay, that clearly did not age well. Reggie said, "I can't feel sorry for you, Shannon." Okay, I know that's right. He brought it on himself. Okay, he brought it all on himself. DSB says Shannon Sharpe done stepped in the ish now, and it's all the way up to his ankles. It is, beloved. He got his ninja wake-up call. Unfortunately for him, but hey, it had to happen. Okay, he needs to learn. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, let's continue. All right, because this man is a whole hot mess, and he brought it on himself. So anyway, as I was saying, a former record-setting tight end turned broadcaster who Denverites. Okay, Denverites. I was about to say, what word? This must be a typo. Okay, they're talking about people who are residents of Denver, clearly, who Denverites have long felt deserves to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. But his road to Canton may have gotten longer, what with him taking a temporary leave from CBS. Now, Shannon Sharpe took a temporary leave from CBS after a restraining order alleging forced sex and threats were made public. Okay, the restraining order story was broken on these blogs. Sports by Brooks, which obtained the following documents from Fulton County Court in Atlanta. Yeah, that's where I got it. Please pay attention. Now, as seen in the highlighted section at the bottom of the first page, the document filed by a woman named Michele Bundy maintains that Sharpe forced plaintiff to have relations with him. Okay, he repeatedly calls and threatens her life and all this, that, and the third, as I told you. Okay, now along the same lines, on August of 2004, okay, please pay attention. All right, it was reported and revealed that Shannon Sharpe had been charged with misdemeanor battery for removing the mother of one of his children from his home. Okay, physically, he supposedly put his hands on her, allegedly. After sharing Sharpe's version of the story, shaped to seem benign, the piece includes this intriguing statement. Okay, it says, this latest incident, hold on, where's the statement? Hold on, beloveds, hold on. Evans is, here's the statement right here. Evans is one of 3 women who have been in and out of Fulton County Civil Court with Shannon Sharpe since March of 1994. The 10 court cases between Sharpe and the women include paternity and domestic matters. Are y'all hearing this? Are y'all hearing this? Leon said, no, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. And y'all have nobody but the queen to thank, because I went and dug up all the receipts for y'all. Okay, I went and did all the work so y'all don't have to. Please pay attention. Shannon, you're going down, beloved. Okay, this is all a catastrophe waiting to happen. 10 court cases between Shannon Sharpe and the women include paternity and domestic matters. Now, this latest incident may not prove fatal to either Sharpe's CBS gig or his potential Hall of Fame membership unless even more nastiness comes out. He'd better hope the rest of the documents are sealed, they say. Ooh, honey, that was just in 2010. Okay, that was the word on the curb in 2010, honey. Do y'all hear the queen? Okay, do y'all hear what the queen is cooking? I'm telling y'all right now, Shannon Sharpe, you are finished. Finito. It's a wrap. Okay, it's just a wrap. Now, with that all being said, so here's the thing. It's only entertainment. Okay, Shannon Sharpe may have messed up by trying to cover up the gay rumors with that publicity stunt going live on Instagram. Now I want y'all to listen to this, honey, because it's all nefarious. I said he may have messed up by trying to cover up the gay rumors with that publicity stunt going live on Instagram while having sex. We discovered that my Michele is actually two women he dated in the past. One is Michele Bundy, who has filed a defamation lawsuit against him. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. She actually filed a defamation lawsuit against him in 2023 or 24. Yes, okay, but let me continue. Filed a defamation lawsuit against him. And another is Michele Beisner, who harassed Evans on behalf of Sharpe. So basically saying that Michele Beisner was told to go and harass the other Michele because of Shannon. Now that's all alleged. Now, with that all being said, I find it interesting, right? Now they say irrespective of who it ends up being, Michele Bundy is the most unlikely candidate considering her contentious history with Sharpe. Bundy sought a restraining order against the former Broncos tight end, according to court documents that surfaced online in 2010. She claims that he once forced her to have relations with him and repeatedly threatened her. CBS Sports reported the order dismissed by Bundy told TMZ she withdrew it out of fear for her life. Did y'all hear this? Said she withdrew it out of fear for her life. All right, Shannon's been going around threatening people allegedly. Evans, who dated Sharpe for over a decade and formerly worked with him, has an action against Sharpe in New York for defamation, libel, slander, as well as emotional distress. She claims the former Undisputed commentator and current First Take star Essie actually assaulted her during their time together and has used his national platforms, including Undisputed and Nightcap, to slander and defame her. Her lawsuit claims Sharpe forcibly had Essie X with her after she discovered he was cheating and then threatened to destroy her using all his connections, honey. He knows a lot of people, according to the lawsuit. I became extremely frightened. He kept calling me while I was at work. I finally had enough and went and obtained a protective order from a judge in Fulton County, Georgia. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? I find it all so nefarious. Poor little old Shannon, what will he do with himself? What will you do with yourself, Shannon, honey? Okay, because I got the goods on you, buddy. All right, I got the goods on you. Okay, so anyway, and then here's the thing. His lawyer is a whole damn fool. Lawyer is a whole damn, you know, because for one, his lawyer is allowing him to talk. His lawyer allowed him to do that nefarious video that he did yesterday, sitting up there like he was AI. Okay, sitting up there like he was Chat GPT himself. All right, I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. Vince said, why is all this coming out now? Like the Queen always says, I have several questions. Honey, I have the answers to your questions. This is all coming out now because he had Cat Williams on there and Cat spilled the tea on everybody. And now everybody wants to get back and they want Shannon to go down in flames. And that's where he's going. Please pay attention because the sad truth of the matter is Shannon has given everybody all of the weapons to put in their arsenal to bring him down. That's what he's done. Okay, he brought it on himself. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't feel sad for him at this point. I absolutely cannot and will not. Shannon, you did it to yourself. Okay, with that all being said, the Queen roast of Shannon Sharpe continues. Now, let's go on to the next point of business. Now, I'm going to share my screen so you all can hear what they have to say about Mr. Sharpe on this other platform. Hold on. Now, I'm going to put an overlay on here. Okay. Him and Michele. Or maybe him and, yeah, we'll put her up.
About these multiple alleged sexual assaults and rapes. Your take just on the initial lawsuit and allegations.
I mean, my take on the initial lawsuit and allegations and the publicity that's come right after it. I mean, there's rules of ethics to prohibit people from trying their case in the media. And I think from the onset, both sides are engaging in releasing what could be evidence. And the rules of ethics from state to state vary, but they pretty much usually are concentrated on not releasing any information that could possibly affect a jury. And
see, that's what I'm trying to tell you all. That's why Shannon's attorney doesn't seem to be that smart, because why is he letting Shannon release all this stuff? This should be reserved for the courtroom. If I were Shannon, I wouldn't be saying anything. If somebody came out and was saying these things about me, accusing me of assault or whatever, and I know that I didn't do it, I would not be addressing any of it. We would save it for the courtroom or mediation. At the end of the day, I would not be saying anything, because all he's doing is making himself look guilty as hell. And what I have to question is, why did his lawyer, can someone please tell me why his lawyer came out and admitted that Shannon offered the accuser $10 million? Is this, whose side is this lawyer on? Why would you tell us that? Okay, his own lawyer said it, and then Busby confirmed it. But his lawyer said it first. Why would you tell people that he offered her $10 million? Because to me, that reeks of guilt. And then for him to come back and then say that he is going to, that he's going to sue her and her lawyer, Busby, for defamation. He's trying to be like Jay-Z. He's not going to sue her for defamation, okay, because she's not defaming him. We heard him say some of these things. And here's the thing. Now, Gwendolyn says, Queen, you need a lawyer for your lawyer. Now, listen. RG Titan said Shannon should get a new attorney. Okay, exactly. He damn sure needs a lawyer for his lawyer, okay? But at the end of the day, here's the thing. The fact that he offered her $10 million, and that's not chump change, that's a whole lot of cash, okay, leads me to think that he already knew that she had some goods on him, okay? She may have let him know. And so he just wanted to shut it up real quick. And, but unfortunately for him, Tony Busby found out about that $100 million contract he was about to get, okay? And Bithia said, Shannon strikes me as stupid. Well, he is stupid. He is stupid. There's no doubt about it, beloved. Any man who's almost 60 years old and you're dating someone that's in their early 20s, even in their late 20s, you're stupid. Okay, you know they don't want your old ass, even if you look good and you're in good shape. Guess what? There's young men who look good and are in good shape too, okay, and who have money too. So what makes these old fools think that these women actually want them? I'm sorry. Please make it all make sense. Okay, they just don't have a clue. Okay, they just think that these young women want them rather than having young men like their own selves so they can marry them and have children or whatever. This is all nefarious at the end of the day. Not Trump, but Shannon has made a complete idiot of himself. Okay, please pay attention. He has made a complete idiot of himself. Okay? Hold on. Lolita says, why no charges for Grape Queen? Well, because she'd rather sue him and get money, okay, than send him to prison, beloved, apparently, because she's got a civil case against him, not a criminal. And here's the thing. Quite frankly, if I was going to get millions, I'd rather have the money too, okay, if we're just being honest. Okay, don't judge me, okay, because if I had been in that predicament, I think I would prefer to have those millions too, okay? The end of the day. And so anyway, now, and here's the thing. Let me go back to the audio, because they're giving their thoughts on his foolishness. And he also, Truth Brown said, Shannon, that's what you get for dissing black women. Oh, honey, you ain't heard nothing yet, because I got receipts on that too. I got receipts on him dissing black women, honey. We're going to get into that momentarily. Please watch.
And they're out there releasing pages and pages of text messages. They're out there releasing audio. It looks to me like both sides are engaged in trying to litigate this in the media before litigating it in a court of law.
But isn't that the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively effect, right? Isn't that what we're seeing now? It's the idea of let's battle this out on the court of public opinion, particularly, by the way, when you're dealing with such a public figure like Shannon Sharpe. The idea of if I'm fighting this in a court of law, but I'm also fighting this in the court of public opinion, if I can put enough out there to try to reverse the narrative, maybe not only I'll still retain my fan.
Welcome to Thomas I Group in Kennesaw, where our friendly staff is ready and waiting for
fan base, my career, but also it puts pressure on Jane Doe maybe to stop the lawsuit, or maybe not, because she fired back too.
No, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it, because unfortunately we live in a time where if you don't do that on behalf of your client, are you doing them a disservice? I'm just mentioning the fact that none of this is really allowed pursuant to the rules of ethics. But I understand why they're doing it, because nowadays pretty much the court of public opinion is dictating what happens in court in and of itself.
Right.
So it's just part of litigating cases nowadays.
Are you concerned by the content, the value of those text message conversations? Does it complicate this case? Let me rephrase. Putting aside, assuming these really are the real conversations and the real messages of Jane Doe, you could say, I mean, she's talking about BDSM, tying up, dog collars, choking, and then she accuses him of sexual assault and being violent with her. Let me actually read you something from the lawsuit. Okay, so this is from the lawsuit. It says, a woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times, but when she says no, even once, that no means no. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. After many months of manipulating and controlling plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her, Sharpe refused to accept the answer no and raped plaintiff despite her sobbing and...
Okay, so we heard that. We heard that. Okay, repeated screams of no. Okay? Repeated screams of no. And you know what I think? I think that Shannon, Mama Joyce said 30 Shades of Shannon. Okay, absolutely. You know what, though? Nene says, when will black men learn? The ones like Shannon won't, beloved. They never will. But here's the thing. I think that Shannon did rape this woman because she said he did it from the back, and I think he did. Okay, I think that Shannon likes the back door because Shannon is secretly on the DL. I think Shannon likes any back door. Okay, I think he likes any back door. Okay, and then, basically, I think that she may have been having relations with him, and then he wanted to go through the back door, and she told him, don't put it there, and he put it there. Okay, that's what I think he did. I think he absolutely did. It's all I'm saying. Now, let's get into him talking about black women. Shannon Sharpe has the nerve, okay, to try to go in on Omarosa when he don't even date black women. Okay, that's the title. Now, I know y'all don't like Omarosa. I mean, who does? So she was a whole raccoon. But anyway, this is what they had to say. Now, this was in 2018. Okay. This has got to be the most Shannon Sharpe has ever looked at a black woman. The fact that so many people are praising and laughing with him on this is shameful. Whether you like Omarosa or not, Shannon doesn't get to drag a black woman and mock her looks when he won't even date a black woman. It's also insulting that he mocks Omarosa in tweets, saying she won't be allowed at a black family picnic when most black Southern families where he's from would probably have a problem with him bringing his average and basic looking white woman that he's dating to theirs. And for the record, Shannon has not dated a black woman since he was forced to date them at all at all black Savannah State. As soon as he made it to the NFL, he refused to even look at one. It was a known fact in circles in Atlanta that he lived where he lived before getting his new gig, that Shannon not only didn't date black women, but he also never frequented black spaces or events. Hashtag that's facts. Okay, because y'all know I live in Atlanta, honey. Okay, now as for those of you who question why Omarosa worked for a man that she says was racist, should also use that same logic in questioning the plethora of hashtag Me Too white women who ran to Weinstein for employment when they knew his reputation of betting his actresses for said employment, access, and fame. What's even funnier is that many of you attacking her and questioning why she went to work for a racist actually go to work every day for pennies on the dollar. And if you worked a lifetime, you would never have the access to money and power that Omarosa carved out for herself. Now, this is all true. Okay, we're just keeping it a buck. People talk trash about Omarosa, but haven't we all worked for racists? Let's continue. Also, for the record, Shannon Sharpe was a member of my health club in Atlanta. Now, this is somebody who knew about him, okay? And I witnessed firsthand how dismissive he was with black women, but would break his neck to lap up any white woman who crossed his path. I've seen Shannon go out of his way to not speak to black women, but would make it a point to grin when a random white woman approached him. Allow me to be very clear. I don't care who Shannon dates, but but he doesn't get to mock a black woman's looks by saying she's trying to be white when the only shades of women he prefers are white. I'm sorry, it's all true. This woman is not lying, okay? She is not lying. Do y'all hear this? The nerve of him. So anyway, talk about getting dragged. Now, it's very shameful that black women who love to complain about black men are attacking black women, it's very shameful that black women who love to complain about black men attacking black women would find Shannon's comments laughable just because their plantation mind control or Stockholm syndrome and love for the Democrats told them to. He's only mocking her because he actually has no respect for black women. Yet many of you think because he plays his pro-black loudmouth ex-football jock that's paid to do a jig that he really gives a damn about black people. Shannon doesn't actually have respect for women, especially when he can't control them. So Omarosa would never be respected or praised by him, no matter how light he claims she's trying to get, nor her political stance, because a powerful woman with a voice and opinion of her own would be too much for Mr. Macho Sharpe. He prefers weak Beckys with a good hair. Also, for all of you who are giving Sharpe a high five and praising his attacks, Shannon doesn't even engage black people, nor frequent black spaces or events. When is the last time you've seen a picture on the internet of Sharpe attending anything that's all black? Well, I never have. How about y'all? Lastly, I'm not sure that Omarosa's tell-all was strategically a good idea, but the same media, celebrity, and liberal pundits who are attacking her are the same people who elevated trashy Stormy Daniels to fame and fortune simply because she chose to turn against Trump. The passive racism of white liberals never ceases to amaze me. Not to mention the slew of white men who didn't even have the access that Omarosa had, who've left the White House and are now being paid handsomely for their salacious stories and punditry. Okay? Please pay attention. Well, honey, they went in. Okay? Went all in. So, yeah, he was talking all the ish. He was talking all the ish. Okay? Please pay attention. And now, with that all being said, let's go to this last receipt, because this is what Shannon said as to why he's not married, y'all. Shannon Sharpe explains why he never got married. I need someone to love me like I love football. He said this in February of 2023, okay, while he was getting Becky from the back door, allegedly. In a recent episode of the Club Shay Shay podcast, host Shannon Sharpe was joined by former Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver Chad Ochocinco Johnson. Throughout the show, the two former NFL stars discussed a range of topics, including their take on marriage. Sports analyst Shannon Sharpe admitted that even though he had hopes of getting married, he's always put his career above his personal life. The 54-year-old shared saying, "I'm about to be 55. I'm about to be double nickel. I would have loved to have gotten married earlier in my career, but my career was the most important. So I was no good. I was a terrible father. I probably was a terrible brother, terrible son. I definitely was a terrible boyfriend because football was the most important thing. I was consumed with that because I wanted to get my grandmother and family out of the conditions that I grew up in. No, you were consumed with it because you probably was too busy chasing men, okay? That's why you was probably a terrible boyfriend, terrible father, and all of the above. But let me continue. That's all speculation. Okay, now, according to Shannon Sharpe, he's dated a few women who initially said they were okay with being second to his career goals. However, they soon changed their minds after realizing how devout he was to football. Honey, he wasn't that devout to damn football. Any man wants a woman if they like women. The bottom line is Shannon Sharpe wasn't that into you, because Shannon Sharpe, in my opinion, does not like women. That's just the fact. Okay, but let me continue. Now I started to realize that I've gotten older in my life. Everything that I've accumulated doesn't mean anything if you don't have anybody to share it with. It took my spending time alone to realize that, yes, Shannon, you're great at what you do. You're in the Hall of Fame. You've accomplished a lot. But at the end of the day, who do you share it with? Well, it don't look like you're trying to share with anybody. Messing around with these little young tenderonis and going through the back doors. Over the last couple of years, I've sat down and realized that I need to find someone to love me like I love football. I need to find someone that loves me like I love Undisputed. Love me like I love doing what I'm doing here on Club Shakes. Please sit down somewhere. Nobody loves you, and you don't even love your damn self. Okay, he's full of self-hate. Okay, that's why he doesn't like women who look like him. Please pay attention. It's all true. Okay, I guarantee you. Now, in 1992, 2 years after his NFL career, Sharpe had his first child, his son Kiari, with Erica Evans. Reportedly, Evans filed a lawsuit against her baby's father, alleging he kicked her out of the home, honey. Do y'all hear this? Yeah, that's right. Kicked her out of the home. Kicked this woman out of the home. And this is all nefarious. Now, in 2010, he was romantically involved with a woman named Michele Bundy, who leveled several allegations against him, including sexual assault. However, the court eventually discovered that his ex-girlfriend fabricated her story. I don't think she fabricated. I think she said what she said and dismissed it because she was scared, like she said, because everything she said sounds like what the other girl said. I'm sorry, it's true. Sharpe was previously in a relationship with fitness enthusiast Katie Kellner. The former Denver Broncos player proposed to Kellner in 2016. However, 2 years later, they reportedly split after Sharpe claimed Kellner was pregnant by her business associate. The podcaster also reportedly had a relationship with actor Eddie Murphy's ex, Nicole Murphy. However, they eventually broke up. That's how you know Shannon got something wrong with him. That's how you know Shannon don't like women. Who the hell breaks up with Nicole Murphy? Well, clearly several people have. I'm just being facetious. But nonetheless, Shannon, you just can't hide it any longer, okay? The word is out, as far as I'm concerned. The word is out. He's never been married. He's never going to get married unless he's going to marry a man, and we know he's not going to do that. Okay, we know he's not going to do that. So anyway, what he needs to do at this point is get him a new lawyer, because his lawyer is giving him terrible advice. His lawyer's letting him sit up there and talk and let him sit there and try to explain himself. And then he's doing a bad job of it because, like I told you all and pointed out yesterday, he sat up there and said, Reggie said he says he's not gay. Reggie, you know he's gay. Reggie, you know he's gay. Quit playing, okay? You know he is, all right? Byron B said fish stop swimming, okay? All right. So anyway, with that all being said, Deronda said no one knows about animals. But Deronda said, sorry about that. Deronda said he probably got a small one anyway. Honey, y'all are nefarious. But anyway, that's the news on Shannon. Just remember, you heard it here first. Shannon ain't hitting on nothing. He done tried to drag black women. He done did all sorts of nefarious things. He's been accused of violence in more than one occasion, kicking out the mother of his child, doing all sorts of nefarious things, raping more than one person, even though one temporary restraining order was dismissed. The bottom line is there's a whole lot of accusations, okay? There's been at least 10 court filings against Shannon. Now, I don't know how he got in the Hall of Fame, but it doesn't look like he might stay in there. Do they evict people from the Hall of Fame? Because if they do, I'm sure he's headed to it. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about little Miss Britt Eady. Miss Britt Eady from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is the one that said she had a gun, basically threatened Kenya. Okay, she low-key threatened Kenya. And now she's been exposed. We already know she lied about her license and all of that. I showed you all the receipts. But you all sent me some information. Okay? And so let's talk about it. This is her husband, Michael Cunningham. Now, when I saw this picture of them when the Real Housewives was coming on, the first thing I thought was her husband's on the DL. The first thing I thought was her husband's on the DL, and God dog it, I was right. Okay? I was absolutely right. I absolutely knew that he was on the DL, and now it has come to my attention, thanks to you all doing your due diligence and sending me the audio. Okay, several of you actually sent me the audio of him, of a young man by the name of David Cunningham. Now, they're not related, even though they have the same last name, but this young man says that her husband is G-A-Y, or maybe he's just bi. Okay? So with that all being said, honey, this is all nefarious. OG Patrice said, I heard Carly Red has been arrested. Yeah, she has been arrested. I saw Storm Monroe talking about it, honey, but I really don't think Carly Red is that interesting to discuss. I really don't. But they said she broke into her ex's house. Yep, thank you for letting me know. But I did see Storm Monroe talking about it. Honey, I don't be caring about Carly Red. She's a whole hot mess and full of crap. Now, with that all being said, look at it. Look at it. I mean, you could tell the zest is written all over his face. And also, when Britt's talking to him on the show, he just really doesn't seem that interested in anything that she's saying. Okay? I mean, it's just obvious to me. And I think she knows that this man is G-A-Y or bi. All right? I just think she knows. I just think she knows. How could she not? I looked at this picture and knew it. And so how could she not? She sees him every darn day. Okay, please pay attention. Some of these women date these men knowing that they're gay. Okay, and like the little dude who said that he's been with her husband. Well, he basically Reggie said rainbow flags everywhere. Exactly, Reggie, you know it. Okay, you know it. Okay, so now with that all being said, here's the bottom line. Brent was engaged in a back and forth with this guy on the internet because he basically was messing around with her husband, allegedly. That's what he said. Reggie said, my gaydar is pinging. This I am, said Queen, you are nefarious and funny. Honey, I'm being very serious, honey. Okay, but hold on. I got something for y'all to listen to. Hold on. Hold on.
Like I told her in the comments, I told her that. But I feel like she knows that her husband is gay. I mean, he might be bisexual. I don't know. I mean, when you call a man that gets bent over to a point on one of us, would you call that bisexual or would you call it gay? But you know what? Cheers. Okay. What did she do to you? She talked shit. We got into it actually at BBS, and she shouldn't have come.
Okay, so he said she shouldn't have come for him, but hold on.
Ski mask, unmasked. That's very risky. It is. But it's reality. So they just come there to get a fix and then they go back home to their wedding. Yep. Their women, their men, or their dogs. And so you'll say the parties are usually hosted from 11 p.m. until 6 a.m.
Okay, so I think Lillian said she can barely hear. Okay, well, it's not really loud. Somebody sent me this audio recording. It's not really loud. Anyway, basically, this young man is saying that he had relations with her husband, bent him over the balcony at like 2 a.m. He's talking about these parties that he would have at this apartment or whatever, and he would charge people like $32 to come in, okay, to get inside the party. And so basically, he has a receipt that somebody also sent me. Hold on, let me go to my email and show you all the receipt. And this receipt came from Tasha K. Okay, please pay attention. Now, that all being said, here we go. Okay, y'all see that? That's her husband right there. As you can see, Michael Cunningham. You see the date, March 27, 2024. Okay, this little dude says that the man paid him $32. Okay, payment between David Cunningham and Michael Cunningham. Okay, they're not related. They just have the same last name. But that's the man that claims that he was having relations with her husband, honey, and said that her husband was coming to these parties that he was having, and that's why he paid that $32, because that's how much he charged for people to come in. And they were having these little, I guess they were sex parties. Yeah, that's what it was, sex parties. Okay, all her Reggie knows all about it. Look at Reggie. Thanks for telling us the scoop, Reggie. Reggie said the boy's been having freak-off parties for years. DL men usually attend regularly. Oh, really, honey? This is all nefarious, Reggie. Thank you for telling us how it all goes down. Okay? Oh, tell us more. Yup, they set them up on invite boards. Oh, honey, spill all of the LGBTQIAT. Okay, if you will. Thank you, honey, for giving us the tea. Oops, and there's more. Says yes, right down there in the ATL. Oh, honey, this is all nefarious. Okay, maybe I should raid one of these parties. Coming there with a warrant. TC Dan said, don't forget the plus queen, okay? LGBTQIA plus, honey. Tell us all the nefariousness. Who else wants to chime in? I know some of y'all in here know all about it. D Major Skeller said, it's true, queen. Y'all are nefarious, honey. Y'all are giving out all the receipts. Okay, hold on, honey. I can't keep up. Okay. Songwriter Sonny said, I don't understand how we fought so hard for the rights to love men, yet we don't. Well, you know, some of y'all do, beloved, if we just being honest. But some are just scared to be who they really are. Bithia said, Wig is doing a show on Shannon right now. Oh, it's Wig. Wig, please sit down. Which Wig are we talking about? Wig 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Wig Dillard is Wig number 1. Wig Tails is Wig number 2. Wig the Owl is Wig number 3. Wig Steph is Wig number 4. And wig number 5 is Little Miss Crockett, as in Jasmine Crockett. Okay, please pay attention. All right, honey, it's too many wigs. But anyway, with that all being said, let me go back to this audio. Hold on, let me make sure I'm playing the right one. Hold on, beloveds. Hold on 1 second.
Then you have Rick Eddie's husband, Michael Cunningham. I'm here to taste it. Taste it. What do you mean taste it? Like, what do you do that way? Well, I'm a salt top. I don't label my food the whole thing.
Okay, did y'all hear that? He said that he had her husband. He might have tasted him. Now, I'm going to skip past some of this because he said a little something that was a little, as far as I'm concerned, just a little too much, okay? Okay, I think we've heard enough. Y'all heard that? He said, I think most people have had her husband bent over. Byron B said the queen whisperer. TC Dan said he tasted what, honey? You know what he tasted, honey? Them cheeks. That's what he was talking about, them cheeks. And I'm not talking about the ones on his face, honey. Please pay attention. So that all been said, everybody's been exposed over here on this channel, okay? If you got something to hide, don't worry. The queen's going to find it, all right? Okay, Judah said he tasted those cakes. Yes, that's what it was, honey, nefarious self. Okay, but anyway, with that all been said, hold on. Let's talk about this woman who lied about a damn kidnapping, honey. This is all crazy. What the hell's wrong with people? I keep telling y'all it's crazy people walking amongst us who are absolutely nefarious. Now, this Karen then lied on this innocent man and said that he tried to kidnap her child from Walmart, I believe it was. Let's get into it, honey. This is all crazy. After this, I'm out of here.
In this video is accused of a terrible crime, snatching a little boy at Walmart. The mother's accusation was disturbing.
Did someone try to take you from mommy? Yeah.
Caroline Miller says it started when the shopper asked where he could find Tylenol at a Walmart in Atlanta.
It's over there. And as soon as I did that, that's when he just picked him up out of my arms.
What followed, she said, was a tug of war over the kid. She called 911.
I was in the Walmart and I had to rip my baby out of some other man's hands because he was trying to snatch him.
Someone trying to snatch your baby?
Yes.
56-year-old Mahendra Patel was charged with kidnapping and simple assault.
Now, do y'all hear how this woman just made up this whole lie on this man? I'm telling y'all, listen, there's people out here in this crazy world that literally are pathological liars, that literally are psychopaths and sociopaths. These people just make up damn lies on people, and they should absolutely be sent to prison for it. This man is still in jail. This man is still in jail, and we have the proof that she's telling the whole damn lie. I want y'all to pay attention. This man's been in jail for about a month at this point. It's so damn sad. All he did was ask her to help him find the Tylenol, and this bitch told a whole lie. Please pay attention.
But this newly released surveillance tape appears to paint an entirely different picture, showing Patel asking Miller about the Tylenol, and you can see her pointing toward the drug aisle.
What is going on there? Because that is the point where she is alleging he was trying to grab her son and she was pulling him back.
Her children are sort of hanging off of this cart, and you see Mr. Patel almost lean in to help. And then moments later, literally split seconds later, she starts to rise to point out the Tylenol. Then within 1 or 2 seconds after that, you see her in a screen laughing with another gentleman.
The tape shows that minutes after she claimed he tried to kidnap her son, there was a subsequent encounter where Patel shows the woman he found the Tylenol. He then checks out, stops to talk to an employee, then leaves.
I think it's crystal clear from the video. You can see that there's no assaulting conduct. You can see there's no battery. You can see he doesn't actually take the child from the mother.
The shopper in this video is accused of a terrible crime.
Okay, I want you all to pay attention to how that woman just sat up there and told a whole lie on that man. But hold on. Let's go to the other report about it, honey. This is all crazy. Now, the man's lawyer is the one who's speaking that's confirming that these are all lies and BS. Okay, please pay attention. Now, Truth Brown said this must be fake because this got to be fake. She's too happy. No, this isn't fake, honey. This is absolutely what she did. She really told this nefarious lie. Okay, she actually told this lie. And please pay attention, honey, because the queen doesn't ever have fake news, because I always get more than one source, okay? I always make sure there's more than one source for any information I'm sharing, because y'all know how they got AI, honey, and people be out here with fake stories and all that, trying to trick people and have you looking stupid and getting you caught up, okay? Like the fake Diddy audio and other bullcrap they put out. Please pay attention.
Tonight, we have video you'll only see on Channel 2 Action News. It shows the moment a mom says a stranger tried to kidnap her son from a Walmart in Cobb County. The man's attorney agreed to share it with Channel 2's Courtney Francisco because she says it proves he's innocent.
He's talking with people. He's being friendly.
You are getting the first look at how Mahendra Patel's attorney plans to argue he's innocent.
This is a friendly older gentleman who is, trying to help people, was asking for help at the Walmart.
Surveillance video from inside the Ackworth Walmart shows Patel walk in last month.
Shopping for Tylenol for his elderly mother.
As he walks the aisles, video shows him cross paths with this woman in a motorized wheelchair with a baby in her arms and a little girl under her feet.
She's pointing to where the Tylenol is.
Patel's back is to the camera, but as the chair moves forward, he appears to lean in. That's when the mother says he picked up her son. She did not respond to requests to comment on the new video, but told us last month
he pulled him, I pulled him back. We're tug-of-warring.
And this video is very clear that that did not happen.
She says her client thought the kid was going to fall, so he was helping her readjust. Video shows him back up. She points to something, and he moves in that direction.
If you're in Walmart and you see someone in need, you're just going to have to let them fall, apparently. You're just going to have to let them, whatever happens, happens. We can no longer help handicapped people is what this is saying.
The mom says she doesn't need the wheelchair, but her kids wanted to ride it. She has trouble driving it, backed into shelves, and appears to run over her child's foot with it.
This man even jumped to help the child when the child fell. That's what people do.
While that's happening, an employee helps Patel find the Tylenol. He holds it up as he talks to the mom on his way to the checkout counter.
He's not fleeing, as the police have said. He's not fleeing. He's using his debit card. He's talking with an employee here, paying for it in his own name.
He stops to talk to a worker before leaving, and police arrested Patel days later. Last week, a grand jury indicted him for attempted kidnapping, assault, and battery. He's been in jail nearly a month now. His attorney plans to ask for bond in 3 weeks.
This kidnapping of a minor bell was rung. Once that bell is rung, it's really hard to unring it. It's really hard to get that back and get him a bond.
Courtney Francisco, WSB Tonight.
Isn't
Ladies,
that a
how
damn
come we're taught
shame?
to get a 9 to 5?
Isn't that a darn shame, you all? It's such a shame, because the truth of the matter is, you know, kidnapping can get you a life sentence. Now, why would she say that? And here's the thing. It was obvious that she didn't even think. She didn't even think that man tried to do that. She just made that up for whatever nefarious reason. Because if you really thought he was trying to do that, wouldn't you try to get the hell out of the store? And wouldn't you be running frantic? You know what I'm saying? But she's sitting there laughing with somebody minutes later. This woman is a whole hot mess. Y'all be careful out there in these streets, honey, because these Karens are on the loose. Truth Brown said, I'm not saying she lying. I'm saying she lying, Queen, not you. Oh, I know, beloved. I didn't think you were saying I was lying. I thought you meant that the story was not a real story. Okay. But yeah, okay, so I got you, beloved. I wasn't going in on you. But yeah, I just always have to double check stories and get more points of reference than just one. I've always done that anyway, to be honest. But I definitely have to do it now because of the AI and all the fake shenanigans that people choose to engage in just to make people look like idiots online. Now, unfortunately, some people are going to look like idiots anyway. But, so let me tell you all about J to the Z. I almost forgot to tell you all about Jay-Z. So let's talk about it, honey. Because y'all know what? Little Miss Jane Doe has not gotten done with him yet, honey. Okay? Little Miss Jane Doe is still on Jay-Z's arse. She's on his bumper. Please pay attention. Okay? Because she is determined that she will not be sued for defamation. Okay, she's basically saying that Jay-Z needs to sit his arse down somewhere because what she did was not defamation. And quite frankly, she feels like they're just doing the most. Okay, so let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, let's get into the receipts of it all. Hold on, beloveds. Now, so as I was telling you all, she's basically saying that she should not be sued. That she shouldn't be sued because what she did was in her own best interest. Jay-Z, grape accuser, looks to dismiss his defamation suit against her. Okay, this came out just a few hours ago. So on March 3rd, Jay-Z filed his defamation lawsuit against Little Miss Jane Doe, who accused him of SA as well as Tony Busby. Okay, Jay-Z is now being stepped to by his still anonymous grape accuser as she looks to dismiss his defamation lawsuit. Now, the Alabama woman filed the motion Tuesday, according to TMZ, and did so with prejudice. Now, in court talk, that means that Hove won't be able to refile it, okay, if she gets what she's wishing for. She wants it dismissed with prejudice. So overall, her argument is that because her initial sexual assault claims were in legal writing, she thinks that she's entitled to have that ability. And moreover, the claims that she made in the interview with NBC were the same ones in said documents. Now, the outlet did reach out to Jay-Z and his team about this new development. However, they have yet to hear anything at press time. Just to make things extra clear, Jay sued Jane Doe's legal rep in the case, Tony Busby. Okay, he's also filed to dismiss the suit, which Jay-Z sent in back on March the 3rd. Busby issued a lengthy and heated reply when the filing went through, and it spawned yet another verbally intense chapter in their saga. So both Busby and Jane Doe are trying to get the defamation lawsuit dismissed, okay? Now, the courtroom battle over this is still going on, by the way, with both Jay-Z and Busby's lawyers trading shots. All right. Okay, so they said it's a whole war going on, honey. Okay, they said it's a whole war going on. Please pay attention. For example, the former said Tony is destroying Jay-Z's reputation, destroying his career. That if he wouldn't pay something of substance, he would be accused of having raped a 13-year-old girl. I cannot imagine how much more evidence Carter could ever present to support his claims at this stage of the case without discovery. We have evidence of two people in a conspiracy, likely a criminal conspiracy. I'm not going to apologize for using the word criminal. Now, as for the latters, his overall argument was that Busby was just doing his job. Of course, that's what Tony Busby's attorney is going to say. That's what he's paid to say. Okay? Saying that this is a well-funded, powerful figure who is trying to punish lawyers for doing what lawyers do. Mr. Carter is obviously really mad and determined to use his resources to send a message to lawyers and plaintiffs everywhere. Well, you can say what you want, but little Miss Jane Doe got caught up in her bullshit, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Her story didn't add up, and quite frankly, she got caught in the myriad of lies. Okay, so I'm gonna have to roll with Jay-Z on this one, honey, at the end of the day. At the end of the day, little Miss Jane Doe's story just didn't check out. Okay? It just didn't check out. Bottom line. So anyway, what do you all think? Okay, what do you all think? And speaking of Jay-Z, let's talk about this real quick. Because Kanye West has come out and apologized again, okay, for the things he said about Rumi and Sir. This came out just about a couple of hours ago. Ye apologizes to Jay-Z for Rumi and Sir remarks. Okay, how many times you going to apologize? Okay. 3 weeks after he swore he would never apologize for the awful remarks he made about the twin children of Beyonce and Jay-Z, Kanye West took the X, formerly known as Twitter, to admit regret. I'm sorry, Jay-Z. This is what he said. I be feeling bad about my tweet, but I still feel I gave my life to this industry and thought so many people were my family. But when I needed family on some real ish, none of these rap ninjas had my back. Okay, we've heard this all before. Okay, we've heard this all before. So, end of the day, Kanye can sit down somewhere. Now, Tina Knowles recalls Beyonce choosing between Jay-Z and another man in the early days of their romance. Who was this other man, honey? I'm sure y'all want to know. Tina Knowles is sharing some insight into the early days of her daughter Beyonce's relationship with her now husband, Jay-Z. Okay, now, Knowles, who's 71, began as says the pair's relationship began as a friendship after they met in the early 2000s. Yeah, that's what they keep saying, but I think it was more than a friendship, if I'm just being honest, because Jay-Z said that he was basically lusted after her when she was 16. He basically said he knew she was going to be his. That means he was lusting, in my opinion. Okay, but anyway, I digress. Beyonce had developed a friendship with him solely over the phone. Okay, this is what Knowles said in her memoir called The Matriarch, which dropped on Tuesday, April 22nd, by the way. Okay, so they provided good counsel to each other as they discovered the industry, each sharing a singular confidence in their artistic vision. Now, when the rapper, who's now 55, visited the Knowles family's hometown of Houston for a concert, Beyonce's mom invited him over for dinner. As Beyonce and Jay-Z then kept up with each other in calls, the friendship deepened. She would tell me, he's just so nice. Yeah, I bet he was. Grooming. But anyway, at the time, however, Beyonce, now 43, was also talking to another guy in the industry who was interested in pursuing a relationship with her. While the Grammy winner was in Los Angeles filming 2002's Austin Powers in Goldmember, both Jay-Z and the other guy were coming to visit, so she asked her mom for advice about what to do. Now, I'm going to tell y'all who I think the other guy is in a minute, because they don't say. Well, who do you like the most? Knowles recalled asking her daughter, who do you enjoy talking to more? I watched her think. It was Jay. Isn't it humbling how love can begin with such a simple feeling? You like talking to someone over the phone. You're 21 years old, and you can't know someday you will take that love to the stars. But it begins with a small instinct. Beyonce ultimately chose Jay-Z and said, and as their relationship got more serious, Knowles met Jay's mother, Gloria Carter, his grandmother, Hattie White, the one featured on Freedom from Beyonce's Lemonade, and his two sisters. That was the start of the Carter and Knowles families joining as one family, and we are all very close to this day. Our gatherings would become parties rich with laughter and storytelling, drinking and dancing. In the Bible, it says, eat, drink, and be merry, and that's what our evenings are like with the Carters. When Beyonce and Jay-Z tied the knot in April of 2008, Knowles designed her daughter's wedding dress. They had the wedding at their house on April the 4th because it was the only place that they knew it wouldn't get out. We had a lady make white curtains to cover the walls and windows, right up to the 25-foot ceilings. The details are my daughters and son-in-laws, but what I will say is that I joined Jay's grandmother and mother in cooking all the food. We did soul food, of course, the best food for a night of dancing and family love. They are true blessings, and I could not ask hold on, did I skip something? Oh, while the book doesn't delve too deeply into personal details about Jay-Z's relationship with Beyonce, Knowles is clear that she thinks of both the 99 Problems artist and Kelly Rowland's husband, Tim Weatherspoon, as her sons. They are true blessings, and I could not ask for better providers and protectors of my daughters and their children. And I'm always touched that their sense of protection extends to me. Jay is an example for his children, starting with very humble beginnings and overcoming every obstacle in the world to be the successful businessman that he is. Tim is humble and quiet, but incredibly perceptive, managing Kelly's career for years before becoming an executive at Nickelodeon. Even with all the things they're involved in, their best performance is as fathers. All right, so with that all being said, Beyonce and Jay-Z have 3 children, Blue Ivy, 13 twins, Rumi and Sir 7, Roland, who's 44, and Witherspoon, 51, are the parents of sons Titan, 10, and Noah, age 4. Okay, so there you have it, folks. There you have it. Okay, it looks like little Miss Jane Doe is trying to take Jay-Z up out of here. She's like, nope, you are not going to sue me for defamation. I had every right to say those things about you, even though I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, and some of it was lies, and clearly my statements were inconsistent. And yes, I lied to my attorney, Busby, and told him that I didn't tell those investigators anything about him prompting me to include you in the lawsuit against Diddy. And yes, I absolutely did talk to the investigators and tell them that Tony Busby pushed me up to it. But hey, what can I say? Okay. What can I say, honey? Said little Miss Doe. Truth Brown said, Queen, you remember Kenya Moore said Kanye was cray after she went on a date with him and said he was addicted to corn with a P? What? Honey, I didn't know anything about Kenya Moore going on a date with Kanye. When did all this happen, honey? I must have missed that memo. I absolutely did not know. But thanks for telling me, because that's really interesting. So you mean Little Miss USA went out with Kanye? I find it all interesting. So anyway, with that all been said, listen, I'm about to conclude this broadcast. And I just want to tell y'all that it has been a pleasure. Mama Joyce said, Queen, don't forget to let us know who you think Beyonce was talking to the other guy. Oh, okay. Honey, you see how quickly I can lose my train of thought? Thank you, beloved Ed. Here's who I think it was. I think it was Nelly. I sure do. I think it was Nelly, because back then, I remember seeing an episode with Nelly and Beyonce and matter of fact, Destiny's Child. Okay, it was Nelly and Destiny's Child on an episode of 106 in Park. And so when Beyonce came out, because Nelly was out there first, I do believe. But anyway, when maybe Beyonce was out there first. But either way, when Nelly came out, he brought Beyonce some Popeye's chicken. Okay. He brought Beyonce some Popeye's chicken. And I remember people were like, how did he know that she loves Popeye's chicken? Because he literally said that she loved it. All right. So that all being said, there was speculation back then. And mind you, they said this was in the early 2000s when Nelly and Ashanti didn't start dating until 2003. Okay. 2003. And when was Nelly and Beyonce? Hold on. Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. Let's see here. Okay. I think this is exactly who it was, because Nelly and Destiny's Child were on 106 in Park in 2001. Okay? In 2001. Now, with that all being said, like I told you all, when Nelly came out there with that Popeye's chicken and he said, yeah, I bought this for Beyonce because I know she loves it. And I'm thinking, first of all, how do you know what she loves? And second of all, why would you bring it? Truth Brown said it was Pimp C. I don't think it was Pimp C. I don't think Pimp C liked Beyonce like that. Pimp C, I heard he had relations with Beyonce, and I heard there was a video somewhere. Okay, but I don't think it was Pimp C. I know about that, but I think it was Nelly. Okay, that's who I think it was. I think it was Nelly at the end of the day. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it was Pimp C. I think Pimp C wasn't serious about Beyonce. I think he just, hit it and quit it. Okay. I could tell y'all some other people that I heard hit it and quit it with Beyonce back in the day, honey, because I live in Atlanta. Honey, this was the hub of celebrity gossip, okay? The stories I could tell y'all. And let's not forget that the Queen used to be at all the parties, honey. I done crashed parties at Terrell Owens' house. I used to be at Jermaine Dupri's house for New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve parties, honey, because one of my friends was Usher's background dancer. I'm just saying I had the whole hookup. So, yes, I know some dirt on some of these people, but I'm not going to get all into it. With that all being said, please like and share, subscribe to the channel, okay? Now, with that all being said, don't forget that I have some news, some information about Diddy that I've been warned not to divulge to you all until such a time as I'm given permission to do so, okay? D Major said, Queen, you're a celebrity. Honey, no, I'm not. Okay, no, I'm not. Truth Brown said, oh, Lord, she hit both of them. Well, she may have. She may have, honey. Okay, Nicole said Pimp C was handsome. Yes, he definitely was. Listen, with that all being said, you guys, I've got to go because I have some recording to do. So I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please double check. I beg of you and implore you to please double check to make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving those notifications. Perplex said, now, Queen, we knows it. Spill the tea. Child, I can't spill this tea. I told you. This is inside scoop, and they told me not to say nothing until they tell me to. I probably shouldn't even have said this because I know y'all so nosy. Y'all going to start trying to pressure me into telling it. Honey, I'm not telling y'all nothing until I have permission to do so, okay? It's too soon. It's too soon. Now, y'all can sit there and wait, okay? This will keep y'all on your toes, honey. Please pay attention. But I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can give it to y'all on Friday. I've got to call them and see, honey. This is my inside scoop, okay? This is the one that told me about the keys of Solomon, them 72 demons, and all that other nefariousness about the bacchanalias that Diddy was allegedly having, calling them freak-offs and whatnot, okay? So I'm sorry. Anyway, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, beloveds, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
With that flavor all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the Queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the Queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got